What's happening, party people? This is your daily motivational morning message. Motivation is a lot like taking a bath, brushing your teeth. If you don't do it consistently every day, you're going to start to stank. It's kind of like when if you ever lived in New York, I lived in New York for many years, and then you get on the subway car. And during rush hour, there are prime times where seating is just not available. And so if you ever have ridden the subway, you sometimes you'll see a car that pops up and every other car is completely full and then one happens to be empty. Well, in my earlier days in New York, I didn't know any better and I saw an empty car and I excitedly ran onto the empty car thinking I was going to be able to sit down and stretch my legs after doing the overnight shift at the Paramount Hotel, same owners of Studio 54. So that was my first, and I had two hustle jobs in New York before I went full time into acting. So after doing the graveyard shift, I wanted to sit down. I sit down, and as I'm sitting down, this intense, powerful odor just pops me in the face. The idea of me that I had of taking a nap on my way back to Brooklyn, like it was done. And I looked to my right and I saw someone in the corner with a bunch of blankets and whatever else they had covered up in the cart, and the smell was more than I could stand. And that was the reason the car was empty. And my point is this: if you don't take a bath the first day, maybe you'll notice. If you don't take a bath the second or third day, maybe your spouse or your family member will notice. If you don't take a bath for a week, it starts to become offensive. And by week 2, 3, 4, 5, you can't go anywhere without anybody being impacted by your funk. And what happens when you don't do daily motivation is that you start to funk up the space that you're in because you're allowing a lot of the noise and distraction and toxicity that we're constantly being bombarded by. You start to allow that to take up space and bandwidth in your life, in your energy, in your mind, and your thinking. And it just is going to come out of you. You can't escape it. So, as we talked about the other day, you got to scrape off the plaque. You have to be willing to unlearn before you begin to learn anew. So, unlearning is about recognizing some of those poor habit patterns that you have allowed to habituate in your daily way of life, daily method of operation. Maybe you're habitually late. Maybe you always talk down to yourself. Maybe you're more negative than you're willing to give yourself credit for. Maybe you're really good at making excuses. Maybe you're really good at feeling sorry for yourself. So if those things have begun to build up as a pattern, ladies and gentlemen, you can't listen to what I'm telling you now and try to apply what I'm telling you on top of all that crap. You have to do a personal inventory, acknowledge these shortcomings that you're practicing in your daily method of operation, and then undo it. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not going to be late anymore. I'm going to be 5, 10 minutes early. I'm going to, as soon as I catch myself talking down to myself, boom, I'm going to pause. Okay. Why am I beating myself up? Because I got caught, and I got caught being lazy. I caught myself eating something I shouldn't be eating. I caught myself slipping. Okay. Acknowledge it, write it down, accountability mirror, make a commitment. I'm not doing that. And to have a penance, to pay penance, I'm going to get up a half an hour early every morning and do 100 push-ups as a penance to me slipping. This is how you begin to unlearn poor behavior. You create your own system of accountability, and then you take the actions to make your penance, right? When you messed up in school, you had what? Detention. You had to write sentences, right? You get punishments at home. When I was growing up, you got sent to your room. You might have got your ass whooped. Whatever it was, once you paid the price, you were like, I don't ever want to pay that price again, because I understand there are actions and there are consequences. I don't want those consequences, so I'm going to stop doing those actions. So if you create your own level of accountability, then you can begin to unlearn, and then you can take what I'm telling you right now, which is to engage in this daily morning motivational message. I want you to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, share this. These are very quick motivational morning messages. I'm going to get them out in the mornings. I can't tell you what time it is because all my days are different, but I promise to bring you value. I promise to bring you some things to think about every day that will help you make a better way for yourself and your daily method of operation, your thinking, your mindset, and all of that. So again, let's really take a look in the mirror, take that personal inventory, identify those things that we're doing that are not doing us any good, and let's unlearn that, create that accountability, pay your penance, and then start applying the things that we're talking about here. All right, hit like, hit subscribe. Please share this with someone that you can feel can add value to, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Let's go.